shall pants.
Jacob Zuma to the rescue as Pietermaritzburg crowds snub President Thabo Mbeki. Days after the civil union bill becomes law, South African businesses are preparing to cash in on same-sex weddings. And Silver Stars book their spot in the finals of South Africa's richest soccer tournament. This is E-News Primetime. A very good evening. Pietermaritzburg crowds have snubbed President Thabo Mbeki at the reburial ceremony of a struggle stalwart. ANC members booed the president as he stood up to speak, and it took the intervention of his former deputy Jacob Zuma to calm them down.
President Thabo Mbeki and his sacked deputy Jacob Zuma arrive at the Harry Gwala Stadium. They were here to bury this man, Moses Mabhida, in Pietermaritzburg's Heroes Acre. The struggle veteran died in Mozambique 20 years ago. His body was returned home last week, and this ceremony was meant to honour his memory and work. But it wasn't long before the ANC's internal politics took centre stage. The president got up to give his speech, and the crowd in this Zuma stronghold made their feelings known. It wasn't long before Zuma himself intervened.
Comrades, Logan Shalepans, Comrade President is speaking.
The crowd placated, a stony-faced president began his speech. Some KwaZulu-Natal ANC supporters blame President Thabo Mbeki for their hero being sidelined, and they're not afraid to make their feelings abundantly clear. At recent Zuma court appearances, they burnt posters and T-shirts bearing Mbeki's image.
In other news, the Arrive Alive campaign has kicked into top gear as school holidays get underway. The campaign aims to cut down the annual holiday carnage on South Africa's roads.
Every year it's the same story. Scenes like these. Accidents that claim lives and leave people maimed. Last December, almost 1,500 people died on South Africa's roads. Arrive Alive says 90% of the accidents happened because drivers weren't obeying simple rules of the road. And almost half the drivers involved in fatal car crashes last year were under the influence. The fact that fewer than half the nation's drivers and passengers buckle up is another contributing factor. This year, traffic authorities are determined to curb the carnage. They're promising they'll be tougher than ever before on offenders.
If you disobey any of the traffic rules, you do any crime, you drink and drive, watch this space, you're going to be behind bars for Christmas.
They're starting with roadblocks like this one in Gauteng, focusing on specific problem behaviors.
Drawing on the lessons of what happened previously, what we are focusing on is stringent measures around drunken driving as well as speeding, because the combination of the two leads to fatal accidents.
So the message from traffic authorities is simple: toe the line or prepare to cool your heels in a jail cell.
2 weeks after a dangerous prisoner escaped from the country's most secure jail, and police still have no leads on his whereabouts. Ananias Mate escaped from Pretoria's C-Max prison, apparently by covering himself in Vaseline and squeezing out of his cell window. He's wanted on charges of murder, attempted murder, robbery and hijacking. Police say he's exceptionally dangerous and have warned members of the public not to approach him if they see him. Yet they have no fresh clues on where Mate might be. They maintain they are working hard to trace his whereabouts. Well, the wedding industry is celebrating the introduction of the Civil Union Act. It allows same-sex couples to get married. It was signed into law this week, and businesses are hoping to cash in on an expected rush of gay marriages.
More than 10,000 straight couples get married in South Africa every year, and that's only in the popular months between September and March. Getting hitched is an expensive affair. The average South African couple shells out more than 40,000 rand on their big day. And the wedding industry is salivating at the thought of more lavish affairs as gay couples plan their nuptials under the newly introduced civil union law.
Now imagine two ladies getting married. You're going to have a double expenditure on dresses, which is much more expensive than what is spent on the man usually. You're going to have 2 diamond rings instead of 1, and 2 wedding bands. So yes, logically, it will have an increase. It will definitely have an increase in business for everybody in the country.
It's not just the jewelers who are cashing in. Wedding venues are in a head-to-head race to host the first batch of so-called pink weddings. And florists, fashion designers and photographers are just a few who stand to benefit.
I think it's a very positive thing for the economy, but more so, it's morally it's a positive thing for the country, because it is just a continuation of the emancipation of mankind.
South Africa is already a top wedding destination, and wedding coordinators say with the civil union bill now signed into law, it's not only locals who will be tying the knot in the country, foreigners too are sure to be flocking to our shores to declare their undying love. Robin Smith, E-News, Cape Town.
When E-News Primetime continues. Grief and destruction in the Philippines as locals count the cost of Super Typhoon Durian.